Hello, good evening, everyone. This is Vivian S. de Guzman, human MRI, and I am also a doTERRA wellness advocate and the facilitator of this whole month's event on our free webinars. And tonight we have a very special guest who has a personal journey of health and wellness. Let me mute everyone here for a second. Oh, perfect. You did it. Thank you. So I met this wonderful lady a year ago. We were both in the same team, doTERRA, and she was carrying around a picture of her that was fascinating from a few years back. And of course, you know how you get to know each other through team meetings and conventions, and you know, she couldn't have certain types of food, and I remember because I've been through that journey as well, but whatever happened to her pretty much sparked a deep interest in her whole health and well-being. And so she actually got a dog recently, which she loved having a dog, and she wanted this dog for years. However, her health did not allow her to actually care for another being. So now that she has a wonderful dog, it's a testimony that she has improved in her health and well-being and continued to improve in her holistic lifestyle, and she would like to share that with you. So without further ado, this is Fariba Kashef, our special guest for tonight on leaky gut and allergies and how that affects your weight loss if you're on some kind of a journey or your detox protocol. All right, Fariba?
Beautiful. Well, thank you very much, Vivian. We'd like to, again, leaky gut and allergies and how they affect us it's our bodies being a vessel. And so our vessel is the way our body interacts with our environment, which is the foods we eat, the water that we drink, the air we breathe, and all our activities. It's all the components of those elements that then affect us on our bodies, our cellular level. That throws me, sorry. And then I have learned from my own journey, which I'm going to, after I get through explaining a little bit about allergies and the intestines and leaky gut and stuff, I will show you what I was. And it wasn't that long ago. It was just in May, in 2015, less than 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So there's Hippocrates saying that all disease begins in the gut. That is absolutely true. All diseases do, whether it be cancer. Yes.
My tile client.
Oh. The special guest. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for supporting Fariba.
Surrounded by some of my favorite things here.
Yes.
So anyways, like all diseases do begin in the gut because it has to do with how that is it's called the second brain of our body, the gut. It is how it actually influences our gray matter, white matter brain, the brain in our heads too, because it affects all the hormones and it triggers a cascade of actions and reactions in our body. So if we could please have the first slide.
Sure. Okay, so explain to us a little bit of what is an allergy. Okay, hold on.
Allergies are we're all born with a certain level for tolerance of these allergens, whether they be pet dander, pollen, the fumes of a gas, fumes of a car as it chugs by and spewing out all this stuff, the chemical industrial waste in the water. Our water, even though it's filtered, the municipal water, they do add fluoride to it, which is overrated. They add a few other things for keeping it clean. But what they cannot filter out in the processing of the water for us to drink is the pharmaceuticals that people take and pass through their body and goes out into the open water, which then comes back and gets filtered for use for us to drink. That all builds up in our bodies. So allergies are an allergy is a hypersensitive immune response to the substances that either enter or come in contact with our body through our skin, such as pet dander, pollen, and bee venom. And that's just a very simple explanation. A substance that causes an allergic reaction is called an allergen, and allergens can be found in foods, drinks, drugs, or the environment. If one is allergic to a substance, I have always, ever since I was a child, been allergic to horses and cats and had hay fever. Other allergies developed as I got older, and my capacity for processing or detoxing, I guess is a term, from allergens became incapacitated. It just got to be too much. It was overload for my body. So now I'm allergic to many more things than just cats, horses, and pollen. The immune system reacts to it as if it's a foreign body, and it tries to destroy it. Well, if we take in so much and we become intolerant and allergic to so many different things, we're continually reacting. Our immune system is in continual fire mode. So mine is just too much, but for some reason, I'm not allergic to my birds and my dog. I don't know why. I'm sometimes allergic to other people's dogs and other people's birds, not all of them, but my own I'm fine with. I think that's a blessing. Mm-hmm. For more information on allergies, because this is just really just not even a drop in the ocean of the information, I've provided a website that you can go to. Of course, there are many websites, but this was a pretty good one, so I offered this one. Now, when we go into, next slide, what is a leaky gut? The allergic reaction from leaky gut, or I should say, we develop a leaky gut. Other people are a lot better than explaining this than I am. We develop a leaky gut from becoming hypersensitive to things that we are actually eating and ingesting. Mm-hmm. And it injures the lining, our stomach lining, the small intestine lining, so our colon becomes very sensitive, and then there's inflammation all over. The inflammation is sometimes really concentrated or focused in the intestinal tract, in which people develop Crohn's disease, celiac disease, irritable bowel syndrome. So these are some of as it advances, it causes greater problems. But the reason what's happening here in the mechanical sense is that the lining of the intestines has become compromised. And there is on YouTube, in my search after I was diagnosed with that I had Hashimoto disease, I found some YouTube videos of Dr. Alessio Fasano, who is from Naples, Italy. That's where he went for his medical school and everything. But he continues his research. He's here in the States, in Massachusetts. And he's also currently a guest professor researcher at Harvard Medical University as well as his Massachusetts General. He's head of pediatric celiac disease and all. He discovered zonulin, which is a chemical that is produced in the intestinal lining as it becomes injured. And he has figured that this zonulin causes the intestinal permeability, which is leaky gut. intestinal hyperpermeability. And again, here's a link for one of his lectures. He's so informative, it's amazing. So leaky gut is essentially like having the gates broken from your intestines to your bloodstream. In the compromise of our intestinal lining, food stuff, chemicals like digestive juices, the foods that we eat, break off and they leak into our bloodstream, and our bloodstream takes it all over our body. What happens when things go where they don't belong is that the immune system goes into active mode, wanting to kill off or clean up that which doesn't belong in our bloodstream. Where our blood's going all over our body, and some people experience tremendous inflammation, such as me, as well as quite a few other symptoms. And it leads to a variety of diseases if it's not caught early enough. Over here, here's a graphic from one of his articles. God bless him. Just showing the zonulin. Here's the and gluten. He has discovered that gluten is a major trigger for intestinal injury, for the compromise of the intestinal lining. As the zonulin increases, there is greater. You see here where some of the walls of I don't know what the cells are called, but the epithelial cells that have the little villi at the end of it, the villi move to keep things moving, processing through. When the wall is compromised, then the food things that are at the upper portion of the photograph picture is inside the intestine. And then the particles, the food stuff, breaks through the barrier and enters into the bloodstream, as we see down here. And then if you want to take the time then to look at all the different actions and reactions that take place in the bloodstream.
So just to explain to the viewers and the listeners, so gluten are the foods that we eat with wheat, barley, or rye, R-Y-E. And sometimes if the oats, your oatmeal is contaminated because perhaps they're harvested together with wheat, then they could be an irritant as well. So that's gluten, which has gained some popularity. Gluten-free diet has gained popularity in the last few years. And according to research, actually, for those of you who have a lot of unexplained symptoms, like the doctors couldn't figure out what's wrong with you, studies show that it takes 7 to 8 years for people to actually be diagnosed with gluten sensitivity or celiac or IBS or whatever gut issue that you have, because everything can stem from headaches, hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain, muscle soreness, stomach pain. It could be anything. Inability to move your bowels regularly. So all of those are signs. Sometimes it's an ear problem or a ringing of the ears. So they cannot pinpoint one specific symptom of gluten sensitivity. That's the reason why gluten-free became a fad.
They think of it as a fad because they don't want to agree that there is something to it.
Right.
Today I'm watching for the first 7 days, these 7 days, Dr. Isabella Wentz, who has written the book, The Root Cause, because she has Hashimoto disease, and there was difficulty diagnosing her and she's a pharmacist by education. So she wrote of her journey, and in her research, she has made it her mission to help people understand what's going on with them, hypothyroid, and as well as everything else. It's not just Hashimoto, but because the precursors are somewhat similar to a whole gamut of diseases. So she has the Thyroid Secret documentary, 7-part documentary she's showing for free for these 7 days. Today, we're at episode 5. And I just finished watching episode 4 earlier in the day. and there was a doctor, I don't know his name, but he explained something about gluten and the amino acid protein structure and why the body confuses our glands for gluten when it gets into the bloodstream. Apparently there is this ABA sequence of the amino acid in the longer protein structure thread for gluten. Well, that ABA sequence shows up in our thyroid as well, but the rest of it is different. But the amino acid sequence is there, and when the immune system flares up and it's going after the gluten, it begins focusing on that ABA sequence, and then it then targets our thyroid because there it shows up again. There's that ABA amino acid sequence that's not supposed to be there, and it starts attacking our thyroid.
Yep.
So as we go on, we learn. They learn more, and then they let us know. So.
Yep, exactly.
Right. So the 7 signs of a leaky gut. Number 1, food sensitivities, and a lot of people don't realize that the sensitivities that the symptoms they're having is coming from food. Now, some of it is obvious, like a swollen tongue. Sometimes I eat something and my tongue swells. I'm like, oh, there it is. But I've had, through the years, a range of symptoms that you end up going to the specialist for that symptom. Mm-hmm. And this is where I'm finding our medical system's a little disjointed, because that specialist sees only that symptom. The other specialist sees another symptom. And so there isn't anybody who sees the whole spectrum of symptoms and goes, this is very strange. What could you have that gives you this whole spectrum of symptoms? Well, I had to figure that out myself. But apparently, some of the food sensitivities that show up in people is as extreme as mood or even anger and aggression a day after you've eaten the trigger. So it's very difficult to make the direct corollary. If I ate something and in 5 minutes I become very angry, that's easy to, and then repeat the experiment, that's easy to figure out. But it's so elusive, some of it. But anyways, some of the symptoms are swollen tongue or lips, rashes. Some people end up in hives, acne, eczema. I used to eat some things and then I'd break out in eczema as a child. Inflammatory bowel disease, the irritable bowel syndrome and the ulcerative colitis, the thyroid problems, hypothyroid, hyperthyroid. Now, by the thyroid problems, the hypothyroid and hyperthyroid aren't necessarily autoimmune issues. Sometimes in some people with the predisposition, and it's undiagnosed and untreated, it can lead to autoimmune, the symptom diseases of Hashimoto's disease and Graves for hypothyroid, hyperthyroid. But also the leaky gut, we also develop malabsorption, nutritional deficiencies. Our system is incapable of absorbing the nutrition that we are trying to give our bodies. The inflammatory skin conditions of acne, psoriasis, eczema, mood issues, and autism. I did find this autism in there and I put it in. I don't know to what extreme, how that would show up as a leaky gut, but I do know my nephew does have autism and he does have a leaky gut. Mm-hmm. And it's difficult to get him to eat certain things that would help him, because then he's he's non-functional autistic. So, you're thankful he eats whatever he eats. Help his leaky gut. Anyways, but with mood issues, children's, people are giving their children Nutella for breakfast. Mm-hmm. And then the teacher wonders why the kids are bouncing off the walls and ceilings. Well, again, that is, that's part of something. Mm-hmm. Autoimmune diseases of Hashimoto's, Graves, IBS, Crohn's, celiac, Sjögren's, rheumatoid arthritis, muscular sclerosis, type 1 diabetes, asthma. these all can be helped or minimized or controlled, brought into some of them into remission if one addresses the leaky gut. Brain fog is a severe, a bit of a debilitating one. I have experienced brain fog after two Thanksgivings ago. After I started my autoimmune protocol diet, went to Thanksgiving dinner. And of course, I took the vegetables and I took some things and I thought, okay, what can they do with turkey? You take a turkey and stick it in the oven. Well, for 2 weeks after that, I was actually not able to think straight. I had a very difficult time at work. I'd pick up something and not know what I'm supposed to do with it. It's as if you're walking comatose, but people can't tell from the outside when they're talking to you, because when you're speaking, it's quite normal. You're okay. And so they figure they leave the store, their business is going to be taken care of. They'd leave, I'd sit down at my desk, and I'd be like, panic. I don't know what to do. Oh my God, my brain's not working. It really is a bit severe when it happens, and it's scary. But anyways, there is, from the Gluten Free Society, Dr. Fasano on the leaky gut syndrome and gluten sensitivity is an article there. I'm trying to show, I give the links to the people who actually are the ones at the forefront of working it, because there are many other links and other websites, but they take his information and present it. So I thought I'd give the man himself who came up with the greater understanding of leaky gut, celiac disease, and how it affects other things too.
And by the way, the worst sign that I've seen with a leaky gut or a gluten sensitivity is a person that suddenly went from very functional to going into a wheelchair, could not walk, could not do anything. So it became very neurological. Because then if you simplify it, if you think of gluten like a glue that sticks to every single wall in your body where it gets stuck, especially your gut, so then your body slows down and can't process. If you think of it that way, because you've seen a lot of Asians are skinny because, well, we eat what kind of food? Rice, which is not gluten. Alternatives to gluten are rice, potato, and corn. However, if you're sensitive to corn, that's a different story, okay? So, FYI. All
That's
right.
one of the things that we avoid, corn.
All right, so far so good. Anybody have a question so far? I'm going to pause the share here. Oh wait, I have to unmute them all. Does anybody have a question?
I have a question. You said that rice was what? It's not gluten, but it's what?
No, rice is not. So the substitute for gluten are rice, potato, or corn.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What was the name of the woman or the link for the series of 7 free videos?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
You mentioned someone who had 7 free videos.
Oh yeah, Dr. Isabella Wentz. Can you see that? There we go. Of course, it's just a mirror, but on the if you go into Google search the Thyroid Secret.
The Thyroid Secret?
The Thyroid Secret. They're showing it right now, and today is episode 5. There's 2 more after that, and then you can purchase. Apparently, you can. I mean, I did. You can purchase these 3.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can someone please mute themselves if they have the TV on, because it's making it hard for us to hear. If you're watching TV or...
Maybe it's a parrot.
Thank you. It's gone. All right. Thank you so much, guys. You can continue.
Thank you.
Ariba, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Shifra.
Oh, I don't want to be seen. Ah! I'm Stevie.
I see the top of your head.
No. I don't want to be seen.
Oh, you're beautiful. Come on, say what is it
How
your
does
name?
doTERRA fit into your life?
Huh?
How is doTERRA fitting into your life with your leaky gut?
Oh, we get to there. doTERRA, I actually use doTERRA, number one, for the supplement pack. It helps rebuild and rejuvenate the CRS, is the alpha CRS. Let me take out the jars. Since you asked, I'll do it now, even though it was going to be later.
Oh, I thought we were towards the end with questions. I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. Now, the alpha CRS is an amazing antioxidant composite. There was, we could do another whole series on what's in the alpha CRS. The capacity for this its detoxing properties are everything, and it's gentle enough for people to use it every day. I mean, that's what it's designed for. Many things that we buy out on the market or detox programs is actually too stressful on our system and our organs, our glands. If somebody suspects that they might have an autoimmune symptoms, it's best not to do the big detoxes, because that actually throws our system out even more, and it could trigger other problems. So this is a terrific one. Then we have the Microplex vitamin pack. This is whole foods vitamins. It's extracted from whole foods. It's not chemicals or, like, how do you say it, Vivian? Chemical lab induced.
It's natural and organic. There you go.
But that's why we need 4 a day, because you can't fit natural food, whole food, vitamins and minerals in a single capsule and say, here, take 1 a day. So we take 2 in the morning and 2 with breakfast, 2 with dinner, and with some food that helps digest and absorb better. And then we have the EO Omega, which is omega complex, omega-3, omega-6, omega-9, from different sources. So it's not just a single source omega. This is excellent. Again, we can do another whole series on what these are all good for. But that's one of it. And later on, I'll talk about the rest of how I use that.
So omega-3, omega capsules, right? If you think of the fish oils, those are the omegas. And if you happen to have, how as we get older, we actually degenerate, so to speak, and we create some kind of holes in our system. So inside, if you think of, you're becoming more holy, right? So what happens is, that's the reason why a lot of people have cholesterol as they get older, because the holes in your arteries or veins or in your organs, your body goes, hey, alert, we got some holes here. What are we going to do with it? So your liver has to produce LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, to patch all the holes. So if you think of when you take an omega-3 capsule, that actually patches the holes in your body, in your organs, so that your liver doesn't have to work so hard in producing these LDL, therefore your cholesterol starts to balance and become normal. That's the role of an omega-3 capsule. In a simplified version. Okay, where are we now?
Further down.
Hold on, I will resume the slide. Okay.
Okay. Now, the gut is ground zero for the point of all autoimmune disease. Move some of these here. I gotta move this. There are certain, not everybody gets autoimmune disease. Some people just they can eat anything, they can do anything, and they live to be 106 years old and healthy and terrific, and you wonder, well, I can't do half of that and I'm sick already. It has to do with, you have to have several factors involved. Now there's the genetic predisposition. I do have the genetic predisposition, My on one side of my family, my uncle, one of my uncles, does have an autoimmune disease. He has vitiglio, and it's where the skin loses pigmentation. That is an AI. And so there is the genetic predisposition there. And as a child, I had eczema, and another one of my parents has eczema too. Therefore, that's also an indicator of the autoimmune compromise.
Yeah.
So I've had it ever since I was a child. So environmental exposure to, another factor is the amount of environmental exposure to triggers. And from the Thyroid Secret that I've been watching, I've learned that these days we are exposed to over 80,000 toxins per day. It didn't used to be, but in our industrialized age and everything that's all about us, one of the big culprits that's in everything that's gotten in the air, in our food, and the water and everything is, I don't know how to pronounce the chemical, but it's in Roundup. So it's the Roundup thing that's Monsanto, I think, puts it out. But that we use it as the weed killer. And so they use it as a weed killer. They use it, the big agriculture for the wheat. This is something I learned. When they want to harvest the wheat at the end of the season, they quickly spray the fields, the whole field, with Roundup. What that does is it gets the last grains that haven't, the sheaves of wheat that haven't ripened yet, they get into the quick ripe mode, so that when they go take their machines and harvest everything, they get the greatest yield. That's one of the ways they use Roundup, and it gets in our food system. Another one is the gut microbiome health, and that's where we get the bacterial imbalance. Some of the ways that we get the bacterial imbalance is when we take antibiotics, when we're given antibiotics for certain diseases. Well, as a child, I used to get a lot of bronchitis, tonsillitis, just a lot of upper respiratory diseases, mumps, chickenpox, the works. And of course, I get antibiotics for all of it. Mm-hmm. And back then, they didn't know about the microbiome health. Who knew? So mine was killed off ages ago. Mm-hmm. And chronic stress. Well, life brings us chronic stress. Mm-hmm. So for me, I had the important one, which is genetic predisposition. Mm-hmm. But for me, everything else, my body just flared into no longer being able to handle the toxins and the everything. So then it compromised my gut system. Mm-hmm. And for those with autoimmune disease, or those who have it and don't know they have it, and it's difficult to diagnose, I think we're kind of like cats. We look good on the outside. Mm-hmm. People look fine. They go to their doctor and the patient complains about this or she complains about that. And in many, many cases, it's an understatement to say it's annoying. The doctor will say it's in your head. You're imagining things. And that's a time to get a new doctor. Sorry, bye. Here's your copay. We're done. So I've said hello and goodbye to a few doctors. But we usually don't look sick. And the family, friends, they have a hard time believing that you're not well. Mm-hmm. My family had a hard time. My father still says, no, you don't have Hashimoto disease. Like, I'm not arguing anymore. I'm done arguing. But it is a lifelong journey.
All right.
And nobody gets cured, but you can really get it into remission, get it well maintained and handled. And it takes work. Now, right. My personal journey.
Yours?
I had, like I said, for years I had been sick. Let's say when I was a teenager, I used to get migraines and eczema as a kid. I used to get serious bad headaches. I also went through a period of time in my later teens with very bad stomach aches. So I'd sometimes be out on the bed with stomach aches. Then after a period of time, I got better. See, it ebbs and flows. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Then after I got married, things were fine. Then I had my son. My body went into what I've learned is postpartum hypothyroid symptoms. And I couldn't lose the baby weight. I was over a year and I was still overweight. I couldn't think straight, serious brain fog, which people think, oh, it's her hormones, it's the oxytocin because she's nursing her son. But no, I've seen women after childbirth and they're doing great. I was in no way doing great. But anyways, so that was some of the disease problems. But what sent me to an allergist, God bless this allergist, he's the only one who finally figured out what's going on, even before he started doing the scratch tests. But I started being allergic. I drink water and my mouth would hurt. My mouth would burn, the skin on my mouth. And I felt, what's going on? I can't be allergic to water. Well, through experimenting with drinking at home, drinking from different sources, I realized I'm allergic to plastic. I had gotten plastic toxicity. The BPA load had gotten to be so much in my body that my body couldn't handle anymore. And so it was coming out as in other symptoms. What I realized I had to do, that sent me to the allergist to see what else am I allergic to. So anyways, after he figured out that it's Hashimoto disease, and then of course he ordered all the blood tests and all the everything with the immunoglobulin tests, and yes, it indicated, there we go. There's also the IG, help me Vivian, is it the IgG or the IgE, which is the food test that
I think it's the IgA and the IgE.
I did the A and the E, well, I did the G as well, okay. So my food allergy list was very long. Apparently chocolate is a gluten cross-reactive. Bummer! Your body thinks that you've taken gluten when you have chocolate. So that was one of my favorite things that I get to no longer have. But anyway.
Aww.
I know. So it's either my brain or chocolate. Anyways, so I spent 4 months after that diagnosis researching about what is Hashimoto disease, where does it come from, what does it do, and everything that I could. So I'd get a link and I'd follow that link that would send me to another link. And that brought me to Dr. Isabella Wentz. She wrote the root cause. Also, there is the book, I didn't bring it. It's called Stop the Thyroid Madness by another person in the healthcare field. I think she was I don't know her name, I don't remember it, but a research biologist, and she herself suffered, and so she then, of course, do us the great favor of writing the book. So Stop the Thyroid Madness is a wonderful book. And then here is Dr. Datis Karazian. He is a scientific and researcher, but this one, why do I still have thyroid symptoms when my lab tests are normal? So the problem is we go to the doctor, and this was an issue for me. They would do my thyroid test. I'm within normal range. My TSH was low. Everything was within normal range. Well, normal range is a bit rangy. So I was always on the low end of the range. They go, but you're normal. You're fine. Well, so anyways, there's research done. What are the factors that are influencing the lab numbers that might be a bit deceptive? So I had a bit of a time finding a doctor who would treat my symptoms, not the lab numbers. Because lab numbers could be deceptive, but my symptoms were real, and it's something I had to deal with. But anyways, first thing I did was get rid of all the plastic in my kitchen.
Excuse me, Fariba, could you repeat the book by Dr. Isabella?
Isabella Wentz?
Went?
Yeah, she's the one who has put together the Thyroid Secret documentary that's on.
Also, it's not a book.
Yes.
The root cause is the book.
Root cause. Okay.
There she is.
And then why do I still have thyroid symptoms when my thyroid labs are normal? Is that the last one?
Why do I still have thyroid symptoms when my lab tests are normal? By Datis Karazian.
How do you spell that last name?
KharrarAzian.
B-I-A-N. I'm glad I asked. That's a tough one.
Amazing information. What's the other book he wrote? He's written another one. Anyways, I won't waste the time looking.
Thank you.
He's got several.
So let's show them, Fariba, your picture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, this is June and August 2015, not long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, my family's watching me just grow and explode in front of them, and they're going, and they don't know what to say, they don't know what to do. But also, what my issue is not something that they wanted to believe. Mm-hmm. So it was something part of my reality that they wanted to remain blind to. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to argue it anymore. I spent a year arguing. 4 months on the autoimmune protocol diet, which eliminates allergens and inflammatory foods. And here's my, little selfie up there. That's 4 months. I lost 40 pounds in 4 months.
Nice.
Most of it, is water.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you can't lose fat that fast. I mean, it just poured off of me. And people are going, oh my God, you're losing weight too fast. I'm like, no, it's just water. I turned on the spigot and finally my body's letting it go. Mm-hmm. And then I'm holding my puppy. He's 3 months old there. I had lost 50 pounds by then. And that was in March. And I had lost 50 pounds. And I started the autoimmune protocol diet in September 1st, 2015.
Wow. Amazing.
I decided I'm just going to start at the beginning of the month. And so what I started with, it's really hard. It's paleo extreme. Mm-hmm. But what I did for 2 weeks first was to remove all dairy and all grains from my diet. The inflammation started coming down instantly. Within 4 days, my son, if we want to go back to the previous picture, the previous one, no, not that one. Yeah, that one, where I'm sitting down, my ankles were really swollen. So after 4 days, my son says, I could see your ankle bone, Mom. Mm-hmm. I had just swelled up so badly. Mm. But he's in 4 days, no dairy and no grains, the body started releasing. You're letting body relax for the first time. It's no longer flaring to fight the allergens that it sees as foreign invaders in my bloodstream. So finally, it's just beginning to relax.
Awesome. All right. Okay, let's talk about the oils you love.
My love. Balance was when I would just douse on me because Lord knows I needed balance from the emotional duress of having become something that I wasn't, mm-hmm. and then trying to get my mind to work and just everything. And when your mind's not working well, it's hard to coordinate your private life, your business, attend to clients' needs, attend to the business transaction because I'm handling people's money. Mm-hmm. If I can't keep my head straight, and I promise something at a certain time, and then it's several weeks late because for those few weeks, I couldn't think straight to process their order properly. What am I going to do? Call the client and say, here's your money? My brain's not working? But you know what? I couldn't even conjure that. Because when the inflammation is to the frontal cortex, right. That's your higher thinking, mm-hmm. It's really compromised. But anyways, yes, I needed grounding and I needed to get reoriented. So the balance was a savior there. Douglas fir. I love Douglas fir. Put it on my legs, and actually it does help move things along. It helps you with relaxing the muscles, making the tendons more, bringing more flexibility back. So as it happens, as I have learned from you, Vivian, that there's a metaphysical side as well as the physical side. Mm-hmm. It helps with greater flexibility and movement. Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, Vivian.
The metaphysical side of that is it is the oil of wisdom. What is that? Wisdom of generational healing. Douglas fir is. Mm. So did your family change as you changed?
Well, as I changed, what's happening is that I have less emotional disruption.
Okay.
The leaky gut and the compromise and the messing with your hormonal system messes with your head, and it messes with your emotional with whatever I want to say. That I would have anger issues. Mm-hmm. Because it's thyroid-induced anger issues. Mm-hmm. Now I'm so much more relaxed. I think family members actually like me better. My parents are less frustrated with me, right, because I'm less eruptive. Mm-hmm. I have no need to be eruptive anymore, but it was out of my control, and it wasn't logical. It was just
chemical. Chemical imbalance. Yeah.
Right. So the frankincense helps also with the inflammation that's all over. I put frankincense on my thyroid because I have a goiter that's inflamed. So I do put it there to help keep things down. I put it on my joints. I put it on my temples, the top of my head, because I wanted to go and help reduce my brain inflammation. I have to save my brain. Mm-hmm. If I don't address the inflammation in my body and my brain, there's a great chance of early onset dementia. Yep. And no, I don't want to go there. I'll give up chocolate for that. I don't care. I don't care what I have to give up. I need to save my brain. Yep. Then I have Purity, which is the beautiful blend. Purity, it's citrus as well as some other things in there, which I don't have in front of me.
Say it's Purify. Fariba, Purify.
Oh, Purify. Mm-hmm. Oh, I put the T instead of F. And I usually use it right here because then I can smell it all day. Mm-hmm. The lemongrass helps reduce cholesterol, reduce inflammation, and helps balance insulin. Now these things, I don't apply those because it does those things. These I've learned along the way. Mm-hmm. I'm very attracted to lemongrass.
It's also good for swelling of the joints.
I really like applying the lemongrass. So this helps. Grapefruit, I have learned, balances blood sugar, reduces sugar cravings, and it's a lymphatic stimulant to help get the fluids moving through your body some more. I need the help with reducing sugar cravings. But yeah, I don't have that anymore because, once you lay off of sugar, which is toxic to our bodies, once we lay off sugar for a couple of months, your body just adjusts and everything does really well. But mm-hmm. I love that grapefruit. And lavender to decrease emotional stress, because Lord knows I had emotional stress. And it can lower cholesterol. When your body is in less duress, you have less emotional stress, there is less stress on the body because the emotions have such a great influence on what takes place in our bodies. It actually lowers our cholesterol because cholesterol is created during times of increased stress, and it has to do with cortisol and everything. Then it increases, there's something about that last word there, circulation. I didn't know that lavender increases circulation. So in my readings, I've learned that as well. And it certainly brings peace. Nice. I mean, all the other oils are wonderful. So I love clove for what clove does. I love, each one has wonderful things. I mean, I could go on with the big list, but these are my big ones.
Awesome. So technically, what doTERRA provided for you was, during these times of changes in your life, what was it that attracted you to doTERRA?
Because I'm so sensitive to scents,
Mm-hmm.
as well as other things, I have just become hypersensitive. When I was introduced, Sandra showed me her oils and I smelled them. I didn't get that jolt back where I get the pain in my sinuses and I need to we go through department stores and it's like, don't spray me. You spray me, I sue you. Don't spray me. Because they want to sell their perfumes, of course. But these, I actually I was attracted to them. I got moved to them more, which tells me that they're clean.
Right.
There's a purity and a cleanness about them. It doesn't have an underlayer of other chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
So that attracted me tremendously. And then, well, of course, if I can't wear perfumes, I want to smell nice. I'm a girl.
Yeah.
And then once I looked into it, I started looking, intellectually, there is tremendous from ancient times, I don't want to say research, but experience and documentation as to what it helps with.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I can do something with natural elements, why would I want to do it with chemicals?
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't replace what you need. It doesn't replace if you've got an infection, like a big infection, let's say kidney infection, it doesn't replace the antibiotics that you need for your kidney infection, because that could send you into toxic shock if it's not addressed.
Mm-hmm.
But the other urinary infection, just the beginnings of it, the other one, yes, you can actually take care of it with essential oils. You don't need to take antibiotics for everything.
Right. Yeah, awesome. All right, so share with them how they can reach you.
My email address is faribakashef@gmail.com. And the doTERRA website is www.mydoterra.com/life-essence-oils.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody would, my account number, because it's going to request the account number, is 288-2773. And for all our friends who have been invited here by other wellness advocates, please contact them for more information about essential oils.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fariba. That was very, very informational. Last minute questions here. Thank you for staying. Everybody, can you please unmute yourself if you have any questions for Fariba?
I do. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Fariba, have you, in your research, found a relationship between leaky gut and cancer?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
I don't see how. I wouldn't be surprised if there is, because the leaky gut is permitting things into your bloodstream that doesn't belong there, and then it goes to other parts of your body. I don't know. I haven't looked, for that relationship, but we can always use frankincense.
That's true. Well, actually, in my experience,
as well as the DDR prime.
Absolutely. Yeah, in my experience, there was, because after my cancer, that was the first thing my naturopath attacked was the gut.
Really?
He said almost all the major diseases stem from the gut.
Yep.
Including cancer.
Oh.
Everything stems from that.
Yeah. So for us, they call it, irritable bowel syndrome, but that's still a leaky gut.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, oh, you have there's a term that they use for your transverse colon where it's supposedly clogged and stuff. That's still a leaky gut. Everything actually that they say in the gut that happens in the gut is all related to the leaky gut, including, you talked about the digestion, not being able to fully absorb and digest in your body. Right. There's a very simple way to test that. You don't need a lab to test that, just so you know. Look at how your poop looks like in the toilet. If you can see solid food in there, except with the exception of corn. But let's say you ate carrots and it's whole, First, try chewing longer, and if you still see bits of carrots in there,
Not digested.
that is malabsorption.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's also a sign of low stomach acid. We're all being sold on antacids and acid buffers that actually exasperates the leaky gut problem.
Right.
We need to boost our stomach acidity. It's not going to hurt our stomach lining.
Right.
And a very simple thing is a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar
Right.
a few minutes before our meals. That apple cider vinegar in water, you don't want to take it straight, that'll hurt.
Right.
But that helps with so many different things, but to increase our stomach acid helps our body digest the food, which helps protect us from leaky gut.
And the other option is to use one of the digestive enzymes, which we also have.
Yep, the Terrazyme.
The Terrazyme before every meal is very, very. In fact, that was recommended by my naturopath again. So, and this is something that the alternative doctors and some actual doctors are using. They're learning that the gut is so critical to health. So, anyone that's in the cusp of like pre-diabetics, that this is their issue. People who are predisposed to cancer, usually it's a gut issue. So a lot of the diseases, they say, oh, you have a tendency to have a thyroid or early signs of a thyroid problem. Again, it's a gut problem. So, if anyone like this, be sure to refer them to the person that referred you to this webinar. Thank you. Because, or replay the webinar. There you go.
Yeah, we will replay the webinar on our Facebook page, Elite Makers Global. So in a few days, once my assistant gets to it. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Fariba, for being our special guest tonight.
Fantastic phone call.
Yeah, and next week we will actually, if you guys are interested in martial arts, we have a master coming in for interview. It's a wushu, which is like a combination of Tai Chi and Qigong. So if you want to learn more about stress relief and how to de-stress your whole body, including your gut, your whole system, join us again on Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll send you guys the link. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Take care. Bye-bye.